you doing? Welcome back. Like and subscribe, please. Press the button now. Go. The bell, press that as well. Right, this week, this is a big one. This one's for all you fellow guitarists out there and bassists. Nothing wrong with bass. I love bass. You've got to a point where you're good enough on guitar. You know, you've been out on the road, you've played a load of gigs, and you got to a point where actually I feel like I've got a laptop, I've got a computer, I've got a little setup, I've got an interface, and all I see in front of me are all these amazing like plugins, all these cheap synthesizers now coming out, all these amazing sounds. I can't play them. What do? I want to produce bands. I want to produce my own stuff. I want to produce film music, all this type of stuff. And you're very proficient on guitar or bass. So what do? Well, that's why we're here. I'm going to show you. I've gone through all the pitfalls. I'm not going to give you a detailed explanation because it'll take way too long. But I'll get you going, and you'll be able to play any synth, any plug-in synth, anything. Basically, that's to do with MIDI. I'll get you up and running. And basically, I've been through the mill with the studio because that's one of the main things we do is, as I'm a guitarist, I need to be able to play all these synthesizers that are around me. But I'm not a very good keys player, so I had to deep dive on this. And it turns out one of the cheapest ways in is actually the best way. So stay with me. And to prove it, let's give you an idea what I mean. And all of that is through that mono guitar cable, believe it or not. Right, so let's dive in. And I'm going to show you, this is what we will call the basic way of doing it. Now, I don't know about you. If that's basic, then show me the advanced version. Let's get into it. The way you usually get your clean guitar, i.e. the guitar, let's pick it up, i.e. your guitar, yeah, with your cable into your interface. Now, some interfaces have an instrument in on the front panel usually. Use that, yeah. Or if you haven't got that and you've got a microphone in, get yourself a nice little DI. So you've got the DI. You plug your guitar into the DI. The DI is going into the microphone in. You've got the 48 volt phantom power on it. Everything's working. You see it going into your DAW. You've got signal going into your DAW. Right, now you can work with a new plugin. Now I'm going to show you it. And it's called, ready? Transition. There you go. Right. This is it. It's called MIDI Guitar Free. Look it up on the web. Like I said, we're going to get through this pretty quick, but thorough. You'll know exactly how to use it. It's by Jam Origin, and this is actually the beta if you're American. You can buy MIDI Guitar 2, and they give you a free beta straight into MIDI Guitar Free, i.e. you're basically buying MIDI Guitar Free. Now, 2's good. 2's great. 3 is unbelievable. Let's have a look what it does. All right, first thing we're going to do, say you bought it. Now, this is my first tip, and this is a massive one. Sorry I'm pointing at you, but I'm just making the point, right? For me, they might improve it in time. You've got two versions. When you buy this, you've got two versions. One that's standalone and one that's basically a plug-in that will come up in your DAW, you know, Logic or whatever you got. Now, I've tried the DAW version, just can't get the big thing here, which is latency. Obviously, when you hit that string, how long it takes to either go into a plug-in synthesizer or an outboard synthesizer and back out through the outputs. That's very crucial when you're playing a guitar. If the latency is too long, you can't play the guitar properly. So, only use, for now, the standalone. It doesn't matter. I'll show you how you can still interface it into your DAW perfectly, and you can use the arpeggiators, anything that you got in your DAW that you use MIDI-wise, you can still use it all with this standalone, but your latency is going to be way better, in my opinion, on the standalone. Okay, now keep that one, take it to the bank, because it's the biggest thing. Anyway, let's get in there. MIDI Guitar 3, there we go. So there you go. Now, what you want to do is go to the, what would they call that? It's a settings star. Yeah, you see it on everything. So there you go, right? You don't really need to worry about all this stuff. Now, the plugins part means you can scan your computer for all your plugins or your instruments, and you can play it straight out of the standalone. I don't do that. I use the ones in the DAW. You'll see how I use it anyway. Now, we want to set up the audio device, i.e. the guitar signal coming in. Now, my guitar signal, so we press that, and it's pretty simple. MacBook, that's what I'm using, but I'm using the MIDI face USB. So I'll select that for my input. Don't worry about that bit. You go to more options, okay? Now, if your interface has got 8 inputs, you'll probably be able to select it from this one here. Mine's got 24 or 36 actually, but you got more options and it will give you a more in-depth look at the interface. This is the way I have to do it, you see. Okay, so we've selected my MIDI face, output, and the input. I don't actually use the output, but you can. If you're just going to use it, you know, you're going to use it for live, you're just going to use that. If you're going to use it in the studio, I probably wouldn't bother. So you go to the input side, which is there. Oh, let's get it so you can see it. Sorry about that. Oh, mine's on 17, so I'll tick that. That's the input channel. Now, I only need to input into it because I don't use it to output anything. If you're going to put a plug-in on it, then you're going to have to output. So you just put these are your output channels. It's probably going to be 1 and 2 on your interface. Whatever you do, click 1 and 2. That's it, done. Right, now you've got to set your sample rate. For whatever you're using in your DAW, this is one thing. It's 44 or 44.1 or 48 kilohertz, yeah? You can only use one of them two at the moment. I'll stick with 44.1, and that's the same for my DAW. So there you go. Audio buffer size, very important. This is basically the latency that you're going to get. Now, if you've got a really expensive computer, if you haven't invested in one, because this will really help on the latency side, like I say, so important for playability. I've got mine set at 64 samples. Now, they do recommend 128, 192, I think. But sod that, I need it really, really short, and it seems to work really well. This 16 samples is a bit too janky, if you like, but it's getting better all the time. So 64 samples, 1.5 milliseconds, you're never going to know about it. Right, that's all done. Right, now, let's have a look. So my guitar interface is all set up. The guitar's going into the DI is going into the microphone input on my interface. That's being seen by the input on this. Right, let's see it working. Right, nothing's outputting, but probably hear this in this microphone. Right, we're inputting, we got it. Now, this input gain, leave it all the way off as it is there, yeah? What you're trying to do is around sort of 3/4, as you see there. You don't want it overdriving too much. Yeah, that's it. Now, what you want to do now is the next thing is the gate next to it. Now, this also defines how short the latency is, because obviously only when it goes past the gate will it trigger the MIDI information, or the MIDI note, if you like. So the lower down that is, as in anti-clockwise, the better your latency will be. Now, I find where I've got it there, it's just about right. Let's put it on that. 20 or less is always good. Now, what I'll do is I'll leave it open, and you can see you've got a bit more crap going on, yeah? Give the body a little bit of a bang, volume on full, bang. You can see it's not going over the gate, so all the little interference that you get, it won't go through the gate. I'm happy with 20, works for me. That's that. Next thing you got, this is your sort of rack system, if you like. In this chain, you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 effects, if you like, for this. Now, this is literally how I use it, but this is probably pretty much how you're going to use it if you're using a DAW, outboard synths, plugins, blah, blah, blah. Now, the first thing I've got in the chain, when I'm using this type of input, and I'll talk about that a little bit later, is a tuner. Now, if you have a look, it's this one right here. You got it? Poly tuner. Now, it's okay. The finish you can get that line is in tune, basically. So if I go over, you can see that. We get that thin line. There you go, that's good. Let it ring a bit, that's not bad. Now, the tuner's okay on this. Now, I will say, if Jam Origin are watching, please, please, please bring back the tuner from MIDI Guitar 2, because it is the best tuner in the box by a million miles. So, you can hear, yeah, that's in tune. It's all good. Right, sorted, done. Now, don't worry about these two, sustainer and whammy. These are just effects that I've put in the chain, just so you can hear it. Now, you call them up on this chain block here. So if I want to change the sustainer, I'll press that. And as you can see, there's loads of things you can call up. If you look there, instruments, these are a few of the instruments I got on my computer. You can call that up and that will be on the page. Like I said, I'm not using it like that. I'm using my DAW to kick off all this stuff. So yeah, go back to Essentials. You can see you've got loads of different things you can try out. Now, what the main one that you want to use, see this one here called a MIDI output. So I'll show you where that is. Yeah, it's on the Essentials tab. Go right down at the bottom, MIDI output. Right, now this is your friend, okay? Whatever you got plugged into your Mac or PC on USB, now if I press that button right there, it gives me a list of the stuff I've got plugged into my Apple from my synthesizers and anything else that I might have to do with, MIDI or music. This is what I've got. OBX8, bang, right? So now that is going out through the USB of the OBX8 into the OBX8, okay? And what we'll do, we'll just leave it like that. We won't put anything else on yet, and I'll show you how that works. Beside it, you've got something that is quite important for expression of the guitar strings, and it's called MPE, and that stands for MIDI Polyphonic Expression. Ooh, did you hear that? Shut up, you. Let me put it down for a sec. Right, and I'll do a quick synopsis of this. Don't get too embroiled in it. This is what it allows you to do. That normal MIDI, what they call MIDI 1.0, legacy MIDI, if you like, won't allow you to do. Now, on a keyboard, a synthesizer, you got the keys, right? And you got a slider, 2 sliders on the side, expression sliders or wheels or whatever they are. One of them is a pitch wheel, right? Now, have you noticed, say you play a chord, if you hit that pitch wheel up and down, all 3 of those notes go up and down with the pitch, right? Now, with a guitar, that's no good to you. Guitarists frequently hit one note hit another note above it and bend the other one up to it. But yeah, you get what I'm saying. Bend one note up. Now, you can't do that with normal MIDI. If you hit the pitch shifter, if you like, the pitch wheel, all of the notes will go up. Doesn't work. So this is why MPE is your friend. Now, you need to go and have a look out there. There's lists out there for MPE compatible synthesizers and, instrument plugins. There's loads out there. I've got most of them, to be fair. And ideally, that's what you need to be using. Now, you can use it with the old MIDI. Let's call it the old MIDI, standard MIDI. But that's the problem with it, is that you can't do any bends because you're going to bend every note. Or if you're all right with bending every note, that's what it'll do. Okay, so MPE basically means MIDI polyphonic, which is like multiple notes expression, i.e. you can bend one string and not the other, and you can hear both of the notes independently. What it does is, with normal MIDI, for one instrument, for one synthesizer, this is normal MIDI, it uses one channel. So you go from your computer, go MIDI channel 1, going out to your synthesizer. On the synthesizer, you'll put a MIDI input channel, and you put it to 1. That's it. You got one pitch bend, and one pitch bend will pitch bend over every note that you hit. That's the only way it works. Now, MPE, which is like an updated version, doesn't use one channel for one instrument. It uses one channel per note. So you've got 16 channels. So it's one channel will do its own pitch bend, which is like one finger. Think of that as channel 1, channel 2, channel 3, channel 4. Yeah. And an MPE synth will understand that, and it will decipher, okay, this one channel is one string. So if I bend that one string and I pitch bend that one string, it'll only bend that note. Yeah. If I'm hitting a note above it, which is the string above it, which is channel 2, it's completely independent of channel 1. It's got its own pitch bend. Channel 3, string 3, own pitch bend, blah, blah, blah. Now, it could do other messages as well, which is, modulation, all completely separate for each individual string. Now, does that make sense? So the hallowed ground, the promised land is MPE. You need to get a synth that's MPE, be it outboard or, in the box. And that's what this is for. We finally got there. This bit here. Now, you can change this. As you can see, it says MIDI MPE, right? Now, if you're using an old synthesizer, it will be, standard MIDI, which you can still use. So you just press the button. There you go, MIDI 1 Legacy. You tell it what channel. I won't go over it because you probably can't see that very well. I'll go beside it. There you go. Channel 1. You just tell it what channel. Don't worry about channel pressure and the bend range. Whatever your synth is, you might be able to look in the menu, and this also applies to the plugins as well. Look up what the bend range of it is. Most of them are usually 7. Some of the older ones are 2. But look it up. You'll find it, and you might be able to change it. So basically, whatever that is, that's what you change the bend range to on that. Yeah. So you press the button, no bends, which is sometimes with the really old synth, like I've got a really old Prophet 5, it just doesn't like the bends on it at all. Yeah, it's old MIDI, old implementation, and it'll just fart and then it'll just die. Doesn't like it, so I'll just put no bends on that. But that means I can interface into the Prophet 5 through a MIDI interface, because obviously it hasn't got its own USB. Are you still with me? All right, I know this is a bit long-winded, but once you got this sorted, everything else comes easy, all right? So stay with me. Right, there you go, bend range 1, and you go through it, 2, 4, 8, 12, 24, 36. Now, I always find, if you're going, don't worry about that, MIDI MPE. For me, just stick to MPE synths, There's loads out there. It's just easier to work with, and it sounds, the manipulation of the strings with it is just so much better. When you're bending the string, you want the synthesizer. I mean, there's so much movement you can have in that finger, right? You're bending that string. That synth needs to know what you've bent it to. When you bend it, it's sending a pitch message to it, not another note, because that will be stepped. A, B, C, you know, it's not that. It's bending that note. So this clever program sends a pitch message, and it has to know what that pitch message is. Now, if they're not synchronized, like from the synthesizer to this program, you could bend it and it will go up 3 octaves when you got it all set up wrong. So this is why it's really important. You get that the same on there as you got it the same on your synthesizer or plugin. You bend it a little bit, it'll be exactly the same note as the guitar's playing. Okay, that makes sense. Right, we're getting through it. So the bend range, just trust me, stick it on 48 bend range. It covers all the plugins in the computer and all the MPE synths on the outside. That's it, done. Right, now you're pretty much there. It's all ready to go. As I've already played, we're on MPE. I've got it on the OBX8. I'll show you how to set that up right now. Okay, here's my OBX8. Now, this is audio through the phone, so it's a bit crap. So you can see OBX8. And if you go into the global settings, bang, MIDI channel. Obviously, you scroll to find the MIDI channel. There it is. You go all the way to the end. Boom. Oh, 16. It's usually on just after 16. MPE enabled. That's that done. Now, another good thing to do, really important, is you take off anything that's on all the aftertouch stuff, all the velocity stuff, take it off. It's different for each synth, so it'd be quite hard for me to let you know what that is. Now, another thing, on any patch, there's another tip. Now, any synth patch you got, make the attack on the envelope and on the filter if you want, but more on the envelope, on the amp envelope. Bring the attack up to pretty much instantaneous, and the release, you want to get that pretty low. And then what the release is when you take your finger off the string. Yeah, you don't want it ringing any longer, because basically that's not natural for guitarists. That wouldn't happen on a guitar. So you put the release pretty damn low on any patch, and you'll see it'll be so much more natural. Now, I've also got an OV6, this is awesome piece of kit. This doesn't sound as good as that, but it's still great as well. Now we've got this one. I'll just show you this one as well. So you go on the global settings, top row, MIDI channel, press that. As you can see, if I go up and down, NPE, that actually means MPE. That's done. Back out, it's done, all done. Now this is something I would suggest that you should start on, because it's an awesome piece of kit, right? This thing here. Yeah, it's a Hacken Continue Mini. Now if you look up on their website, they've got even smaller stuff that cost about 400 or 500 quid, but it's exactly the same, and it hasn't got this. Oh, we can hear it. It sounds amazing. This is an MPE synth as well. It's a bit harder to configure. It's not too bad. There's so many sounds in it, and it does sound pretty damn awesome, as you've heard. If you're going to start on one, maybe try that, because it's way more versatile than these two. I've also got this is another one you could start with. This is also MPE, Hydra Synth. I think this piece of kit, I think if you haven't bought one of these, you're crazy, because this is MPE enabled as well. The sounds you can get out of it, they can be pretty fat. You know, there's so many things you can do with it. If you're using You can interface it with all your modular gear. I love it. Great piece of kit. But anyway, back to the show. That's how you do the MPE on the synths. Okay, you're back. Right, now, that's literally all you got to do with the AVX8. You put it on the MIDI channel, go through the MIDI channel on the screen till you get to the MPE. That's it. Done. You should be good to go. That's it. Now, as it's analog, it's going to go out of tune, so you've got to retune the synth. That's probably what you're hearing. Now, I've got all this chained into my DAW and coming out through the inputs, yeah, which is going to a H3000 Eventide, so that's why you're hearing a bit like chorusy sort of sound. So I can turn it off. Right, I hope that helps out all you guitarists out there who are a bit in Wonderland, looking at all these amazing like Behringer synths, you know, all this gear that you're thinking, oh, what am I going to do? Am I going to just put arpeggiators on them and just boring stuff when I can play my guitar so well and I can't really use them however I want? Now you can. I'll see you next week. See you later.